Good evening, sleepless friend. This is Nightfall Narratives, and tonight we drift to the edge of the Arctic Circle, where winter ice once gripped 3 gray whales and the hearts of people half a world apart. Before the story begins, take one slow breath in, hold, and breathe out, letting the chill of imagined snow clear the mind. Again, in, hold, and out. With each exhale, feel your thoughts quiet, as if settling into soft powder snow. Now we step onto the sea ice outside Barrow, Alaska, in the dim blue light of an October dawn in 1988. The world is hushed at 30 degrees below the freezing point of water. The horizon is a pale stripe, neither night nor day, and the only sounds are the crunch of insulated boots and the distant hush of pack ice plates grinding together. Inupiat hunter Billy Adams pauses at the edge of a narrow lead, scanning for seals. What he sees instead is a plume of vapor that should not be there, a geyser of whale breath pushing through a hole barely wider than a dinner plate. He crouches, waits, and the plume rises again, smelling faintly of fish tinged with frost. A second plume, smaller, follows, then a third. Somewhere under 40 centimeters of ice, 3 gray whales have found the only opening in a frozen ceiling that stretches 8 kilometers to the nearest open sea. Billy radios wildlife biologist Craig George, repeating the sighting twice to be sure the words are believed. In Barrow, Craig gathers rope, a camera, and a plastic pail of hot coffee that steams in the sub-zero air. 20 minutes later, he kneels beside the hunters at the hole. The ice groans beneath them. Through a mottled window of gray water, they glimpse a pale, barnacled head and an eye wide as a silver dollar. It blinks once, rolls upward, and sinks. Gray whales can hold 5,000 liters of breath, but even a colossal lung empties after 20 minutes. The next opening south is kilometers away. If these animals are to survive, they will need more holes, hundreds of them, hand-cut through thickening ice that freezes closed again in minutes. The sky is the color of unpolished pewter as the men power up their chainsaws. The roar of 2-stroke engines cracks the morning stillness. One cut, then another. Water sloshes over the blades and coats gloves with instant ice. The first new hole is a ragged oval, still steaming, when a juvenile whale surfaces, wheezes, and vanishes with a low shudder that travels through the boots of its human benefactors. By nightfall, the chain of openings stretches 100 meters, but Arctic darkness drops fast, and in minus 20 degrees, the first holes have already glazed over. The volunteers pack snow around plywood covers in a vain attempt to insulate the water. Their breath hangs in halos around headlamps. Somebody mutters that the ice is growing faster than they can cut. Nobody disagrees, yet they return at dawn with sharpened chains and a portable generator that powers floodlights and a coffee urn. News spreads on the Citizens Band, then on Alaska Public Radio. By the third day, a Minneapolis news director flies in a camera crew. In New York, a late-night anchor shows shaky footage of whales gasping through tiny slots and calls it a slow-motion race against ice. Donations of burlap bags, plywood sheets, and kerosene space heaters arrive on cargo flights. Outside the village school, children weave ropes of straw to lay around the edges of breathing holes, hoping the insulating halo will buy a few more hours of open water. Chainsaw mufflers sputter white smoke that smells of gasoline and pine pitch. Volunteers cut, clear slush with aluminium scoop shovels and move 30 strides south to repeat the ritual. Somewhere out on the frozen plain, water drums under ice like a distant heartbeat. At the 12-hour mark, one of the juveniles floats belly up, exhausted, then rights itself with a ponderous sweep of its tail. Its name among the rescuers is Bone, because patches of white scarring stand out like skeleton plates beneath its gray skin. The larger calf is nicknamed Bonnet for the bump of barnacles upon its head. The adult female, guardian and mother, carries a bent rostrum that splits her upper jaw. They call her Crossbeak. The men and women who carve the holes begin to notice a rhythm in the whale's circuit. Every 15 minutes, Crossbeak rises first, exhaling with a force that rattles their knees. Bone follows, Bonnet last of all. They surface, breathe 3 times, dive, and glide to the next hole. The pattern is comforting. The mathematics of survival feel almost musical. Day 4 greets them with minus 25 degrees and winds that carve drifts like frozen waves. Ice thickens to 45 centimeters. Holes refreeze in 90 seconds. Chainsaws stall in slush. Someone brings a kerosene-fired steam lance found in a pipeline yard, and the hiss of superheated water joins the song of saws. Circles of bluish ice retreat under the jet, but they cool again in minutes, leaving a rim of translucent, glass-hard glaze. Civic leaders call oil company engineers for ideas. An Alaskan pipeline foreman named Gary Brigham arrives in a Hercules transport with 2 kilometers of fire hose, steam boilers, and a head full of thermodynamics. He sketches a hydraulic highway on cardboard, cut holes every 4 meters, pump warm water through the channel to prevent freezing, and push a continuous current that the whales can follow south to freedom. Reporters love the phrase. International soundbites roll across the evening news. Native hunters, oil engineers, environmental activists, and network anchors share coffee from the same dented thermos while the whales circle beneath. On day 6, satellite photos reveal a gargantuan tongue of pack ice sealing the Beaufort Sea. Open water is now 11 kilometers away. The whales are losing weight, skin puckering around their blowholes, but the holes, now 200 of them, are holding. Volunteers chop at 3 a.m., light towers painting the ice amber, diesel generators humming like giant bees. A young cameraman's breath freezes to his viewfinder. Across a crackling long-wave channel, the White House asks whether the Soviet Union still fields icebreakers in the Chukchi Sea. A governor who thought only about road budgets last month now learns the call sign of Kapitan Dranitsyn, a 23,000-ton diesel-electric vessel capable of crushing meter-thick ice at 3 knots. Dranitsyn weighs anchor in Murmansk, steams 4,000 kilometers east. Newspapers call it glasnost for whales. Half the world watches grainy video of chainsaw crews in parkas, their fogged goggles reflecting the northern lights. Greenpeace, which once blocked whaling ships, issues a statement praising the rescue. A barista in Seattle names a mocha special after the whales. Bone, Bonnet, and Crossbeak swirl in cinnamon and foam. The Soviet icebreaker appears on the flat horizon 14 days after the first plume was sighted. Its decklights cut through polar night like a moving city. Everyone on the ice feels the rumble of its props before they see the bow. The ship halts 6 kilometers north of the breathing chain, then eases forward, thick steel plates screeching against ice. With each push, the floes tilt, crack, and slide under the hull. Sheets roll, flip, and shatter, revealing black water that fizzes with liberated air. The whales hesitate at the new roar, then ride the mixing waves south, covering 2 kilometers in a single hour, distance that took humans a week to hack. Behind them, the breathing holes are now unnecessary. The channel widens into an undulating corridor of open lead. The volunteers drop their saws, some laughing, some crying behind woolen masks. No speeches are made. Their throats are too raw from cold and diesel fumes. One last barrier remains, 500 meters of 70-centimeter thick, shore-fast ice, anchored so firmly that even Dranitsyn cannot ram it without risking damage. Engineers drill holes, install compressed air lines, and bubble a curtain of rising air that weakens the ice matrix. Chainsaw crews, reinvigorated, cut the final series of slots. At midday on the 16th of November, under a low disk of pale sun, open water finally touches the southernmost hole. Bone surfaces first, blowing a misty plume that glitters like powdered sugar. Bonnet follows, tail slapping a fan of slush across the boots of the nearest volunteer. Crossbeak lingers, almost as if counting the humans who line the channel, then slides beneath the last bridge of ice and disappears into the dark water beyond. The thrumming generators idle down. Chainsaws fall silent. A graduate student shuts off the pump feeding the bubble curtain. The hose groans empty. Someone remarks that the sea sounds louder now, though nothing has changed except the absence of engines. For the first time in 22 days, there is nothing left to do. 2 weeks, 12 kilometers of holes, 5,000 liters of diesel, $1.2 million in equipment and airlift fees, and 3 gray whales swim free beneath the autumn pack ice. Television ratings spike for a night, then sink. Within a month, a winter cyclone erases every cut the volunteers made. The channel refreezes as if no human hand ever touched it. But the story lingers in dining rooms and classrooms, a quiet tale of unlikely alliance when the Cold War itself still hummed in the background like distant diesel. Now, dear listener, let the lights of the Soviet icebreaker dim. Let the wind settle to a soft hiss across the ice plain, and close your eyes if they have not closed already. Picture 3 dark shapes gliding beneath a ceiling of stars, exhaling silver plumes that fade into the polar sky. Each breath is slower, calmer, an echo of your own. Tomorrow night, another unsung story will wait here at 10. Until then, drift gently, as softly as snow settling on silent sea ice. Good night.